FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play here on The Dark. And tonight I'm talking with the lead singer of the band Savage After Midnight, that being Shi Eubanks. And Shi, first of all, thanks so much for joining me, man. How you doing?
Man, just running ragged, my friend. You know how that goes.
I tell you what, reading your backstory, it's crazy. You guys have been running ragged and had all sorts of things going on with this band. And I guess for the listener that maybe hasn't done any reading about your band and that, let's get the history a little bit of this band. How did this band all get to bout, I guess?
Wow, such a long question. I have to give you a long-winded answer. Yeah, I mean, the band's been around. We've been around for a long time. As far as, like, myself, the guitar player, and the bass player, we've been around, like, together for years. And, like, where we sit now, like, we went through a lot of changes, trying to figure out exactly who we wanted to be, what we wanted to do, because what we were doing in the old, carnations of the band, we just wasn't working. We were getting pulled in, like, 50 different directions. Hey, if you sound more like this, I can, we could help you out. If you sound more like this, we could definitely do something with you, blah, blah, blah. We were just chasing it so bad for so long, and it just didn't work. So, we took a step back, went in, got with some writers, started working on some new material. And honestly, we didn't even know if we were going to be a band anymore. We were just started writing and learning how to write. Really, because to be honest with you, our songs, they sucked. They just weren't good. So we had to take a step back, eat some humble pie, learn how to write, and through that, it was kind of this unspoken thing: are we even going to play anymore? And we started creating, this music just for ourselves, and then it started leaking out, and people started getting their hands on it. And when they did, the vote was almost unanimous just to keep going. And that's when we fell into, the first record contract, which, when you read the story about us and figure out what happened after that, it's insane. We got tossed and turned through the machine like 50,000 times. It was insane.
Right. So you got a little scars, basically, is what you're telling me. What you got?
Yeah, you got studio fires. We went through 3 different producers in 3.5 years. Label kept getting into it with, Colin Britton that did the 2 new Papa Roach records. He's doing the new Used record. Right now, just talked to him. He's doing the new Day to Remember as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
They got into it with him, and then we got out there with Terry Date. We spent, 3.5 months in Seattle doing the record again with him. Terry did Pantera, Slayer, Bring Me the Horizon, Limp Bizkit, the Deftones, everybody. That record was rad, and then they had a falling out with him, and then there was like a big fire at the studio when they decided that we should just go in and almost self-produce. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. But here we are. We're alive.
Well, I tell you one thing about having all that stuff happen to you, and this is obviously being a singer, it gives you a lot of writing material, doesn't it?
Oh, my God, I could write like 50 books, my friend. like literally.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of your music, too, that you're writing now, too, and getting out there producing, and even maybe the energy that you have out on stage shows some of that stuff that has happened over the past 10 years.
Oh, my God, that is 100%. Like, there's nothing closer to the truth. It definitely bleeds out when we get on stage because, like, I don't know, it's almost like you get flashbacks. Like, it's like PSD or something like, or PTSD.
Yep.
Like, we literally start getting flashbacks from, like, all the garbage we've been put through. And it's like, yeah, we cut up on stage.
Well,
I ended up, like, one night, we were out, I think it was on this Memphis Mayfire run that we just did, and I kicked my ego riser off the front of the stage at the end of the set, and it flew into the barricades.
Oh.
And like this giant of a man that was the security guard in front of me, like turned back and looked at me like, "You're dead," like because it like zoomed past his head. And I was just like, after the show, like, I was like, hey, man, I apologize. He was like, no, man, that was actually awesome. I was like, you looked at me like you were going to kill me. Like,
As long as it didn't hit him, you're all right, right?
oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't it that guy. It wouldn't have done anything, really. You've been like, what was that?
All right. Hey, we're talking to Shi, lead singer of the band Savage After Midnight. Let's talk about the name quick. Savage After Midnight. How'd you guys come up with it, and what's the backstory of this?
Oh, man, that's another story.
I know.
So, yeah, when we signed with Sony Red, they did a lot of research, their due diligence on the name that we had, and that name is actually going to be in the comic book series that we're going to be releasing. It's actually the name of the city that our Savage personas live in, and it's called Empire City. So that was our old band name. Well, they looked it up, and there was a DJ in like Denmark or Iceland somewhere, overseas that had it, and they were like, look, we could use it here in the States, but then when it gets to your first world release, we're not going to be able to use that over there. So we went to the drawing board, we started digging, came up with like just a multitude of names. And, we kind of figured out through them that it was going to be a longer process than we thought, because we talked about some ideas that we really, really liked and were meaningful for us. And they were just like, nope, nope, nope. And I swear we went through anywhere from 400 to 600 names. And then they hit me with, look, narrow it down to 5, and then write us a small paragraph on, what it means to you, this, that, and the other. And I was like, look, man, I dropped out of college for a reason.
I was going to say, this is not school, boys.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? And we finally got irritated. We were like, no, we're not going to do that. So here's the name we're going to use. And it's something that we were all in love with, which was Savage After Midnight, because it just fits us. I mean, we get stuff done during the day. We handle our business accordingly. And then when it hits night, we're just wild, period. I'm not going to lie to you. We get nuts.
I hear you. So then that must be some reason for the album or EP called 1159, then, I would assume.
Yeah, so I was talking to the label, and I asked them if we could cut the first record in half and do 2 EPs. Like, I'd rather have done singles the entire way, kind of like rap does, just because I don't think you burn through the songs, and I think people have time to digest each song that way. And they were like, no, can't do that. So we kind of settled on the EP route and taking the first one. It's like the happy medium to keep us happy and them happy. And so the first one is 1159. The second EP that comes out to complement it is going to be called 1201. So Savage After Midnight.
Nice. Now, I know that you guys are maybe going to release that late this year or early next year. Is that kind of the plan for that 2000 or 1201, I should say?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to pump out content. I mean, to be honest with you, bro, we literally have we got libraries full of songs.
Right.
It's crazy. Hard drives just full of songs that are finished. We finished a couple that here recently that we did. We had Andrew Wade that did a lot of stuff for the Day to Remember. He mixed them.
Absolutely.
We did a lot of cool stuff like that. We've done I did a couple songs again with Colin Britton, because now it's not a conflict with the new label.
Right.
So I did some stuff with Colin. We've got there's easy 60 to 100 songs in the bank that are just sitting there.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. You've had some industry issues and all that kind of stuff. Is there not only, behind the scenes, but is there some other maybe guys up front that are helping you guys out to maybe move to that next level?
Yeah, as far as management, or are you referring to
management, artists out there, other musicians have been in this for a long time and says, hey, we know what this is like. We've had to muck through basically it's like drain the swamp in Washington. It's almost the same thing in the music industry too. So
right, yes, 100%. The Shinedown camp has been behind, has had our back for a long time. And, even more so now with the traction that we're getting, they're able to open a lot more doors for us.
Right.
Zach Myers over there, the guitar player,
Yep.
Eric Bass is, he's awesome. Brent, they're all homeboys. I'm really good friends with Jack from Sleeping with Sirens. He's trying to open some doors up that are really leading some stuff. Super close with Ashley Purdy from Black Veil Brides.
Yep.
Ashley has done a lot for us in his whole camp. Him and Cece from Black Veil. My boy Chris from Attila.
Mm-hmm.
We have a plethora of people. My best friend Shannon Guns from Sirius Satellite Radio.
Yeah. It's helpful though, isn't it? You got to have that. You have to have that
right.
support a little bit. It's unfortunately, I think it's with anything in the world. If you try to go in all by yourself, that's great, but there comes a point where you're going to hit a wall that you're going to need that support. And so when there's that support system there for you, it gets you onto that next level where you want to be.
Yeah, 110%. And you start to make family. Like when you get into this industry, it's not the networks are a lot tighter than you ever perceive. When you start to become, a small network family, because when you're out on the road, you don't have your actual blood family there. So you start to see a lot of the same faces on the road. You start to develop personal relationships with them. They start to grow on you, and then it just works like that. And they having that large network behind our back is never hurt anything. But it was years of that coming together. Like Chad Gray, from Hell Yeah, that's my dude. Tell you what, don't go to the gym with him. He will beat you down in the gym. We were in there, and that dude, I thought I'd get it in the gym. No.
No. I'll be over here trying one of these shakes while you're working out there, Chad.
Right? He was like, we get, where I would assume that we're about, hell into the session.
Right.
And he's just like, all right, now we're going to go try this. He's like, you ever done this? And I was like, holy, this is way more than I assumed. And I literally, I'm not the guy that just stands there in the gym either. He is just that much of a beast.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Let's talk a little bit more about your current single that is out off that EP, which the EP released just a couple of weeks ago. And the latest track that is spinning on rock radio is 10 Feet Tall. And in fact, I know I report for the Foundation's secondary market rock chart, and it got into the top 10. I think it was up to at least number 5 in that. So that's an awesome thing. And I know it's been, I think, on the Billboard charts and even dabbled around in the media base too. Talk about that song a little bit and the history of it.
Yeah, man, that song just keeps growing. It's insane. And they're going into a second wave of introducing it to the radio. So I'm pretty sure that here, within just the next few, it's going to keep going, because they say that the reaction, all the radio stations are telling us the reaction that they're getting from it organically is just insane. So 10 Feet Tall, just a little just about the song. 10 Feet Tall is an anthem about empowerment. So I firmly believe that, for you to become more of a powerful presence or person in the world, that you gain that faster through empowering other people. When you help somebody grow past what they ever dreamed they could be, and you show them, that there's a lot more out there than they're giving themselves credit for, and they can do a lot more than they ever dreamt they could, that it returns tenfold. They'll turn around and help you, if they pass you up the ladder. So that song is really an anthem about, empowering through empowerment.
Very cool. So it sounds like you're going to be hanging out of that song for a while yet before maybe you release one of the other songs that on that EP you have that you just released a couple months ago, about a month ago.
Yeah, I think so. With the growth that it's showing right now, as far as the metrics on it, it's through the roof, and it just continues to climb and climb and climb and climb and climb.
That's awesome. And you mentioned you just finished up hanging out with the guys from Memphis Mayfire a little bit on a tour. Are you planning some other tours yet for 2019?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works, and stuff that I can't really disclose right now because it's not 100%.
Yeah, we get that here. We understand that. Oh, we know that.
You got it.
Absolutely. We're even trying to get our own, shows and stuff here in town too. So we're always, even our listeners, are like, oh, are you going to have one? Or yeah, we're going to have one, but it takes a while to get this stuff together, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it really does. Especially when we were kind of late to the game this year. We released everything. I think they released the first single in like October or whatever.
Yeah.
But it hit right in the winter months, and right around that time, everybody was already booked out. You start booking the big festivals in November, December that you see during the summer. A lot of people don't know that, but that's how it happens. So our late summer, fall, winter is like stacking up. The possibilities are stacking up really, really deep, especially with, the record reacting the way it is.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some cool tours. If you guys have something, we'd love to come and play for you guys and your listeners. We'd love that.
Well, absolutely. In fact, we're starting to get some more venues around the area here to get more involved in us. So we'll have to talk. We'll chat after this interview and see what we can do. But one thing I do want to say, since you're talking about touring, that who would be a great some acts to go out with? Who would you love to go out if you had to put together a band bill to go out and showcase your band? Who would you love to play behind?
Well, if we could bring Chester back,
well, yeah,
ultimate.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, like God, my heart still hurts from that one. I feel like Bring Me the Horizon is a really strong one.
Yeah.
Love them. Rise Against.
Okay, yeah.
Who else?
Kind of a little punkish in there in that Rise Against kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, which I love. Like if you listen to our song Overrated,
okay,
it's got that punk feel in the verses.
Right.
So it's pretty sweet. Shoot, I mean, there's so many people. There's so many just talented people out there. Trying to think like the top ones that we really want to go out with. I'm digging that new the latest Asking Alexandria record.
Okay, yeah.
It's really, really strong.
Yep.
I think
their latest song.
Would be some good pairing.
Yeah, Vultures is the latest one they're spinning out on the airwaves, so good song there, yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. I mean, obviously, you guys are kind of you've been around for a while, so it's not like you're a brand new band, but you're kind of new to a lot of people, I guess we could say. And, maybe this is the thing that I like to do in this show is bring in up-and-coming bands and kind of, get them their chance to talk, get their chance to shine a little bit. Is there a band or two that you know about that maybe just hasn't got that opportunity yet that you could tell me about and we can maybe spin on these airwaves? I know it's kind of throwing you on the spot right away, but maybe you have a friend or two out there that's in a band or something. It's like, hey, boy, it would be great to get a break like this.
Yeah, stick me out there. The new Framing Hanley stuff, I mean, they're not a new band, but
Nixon and the guys, yep.
Yeah, their new stuff is really cool. Who else have I seen lately that I've just been blown away by? The new Shallow Side stuff's really cool.
Yep, Eric and those guys, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah,
Eric Boatwright, that dude can sing his butt off.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Golly, that kid's incredible.
Hey, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of great bands out there. And that's the one thing. Let me ask you, how do you guys, I guess, to some degree, you kind of get when you're a radio personality or for that matter, a music guy, music director, you get a ton of music sent to you. And, how does a band figure out how they're going to get through the white noise to be that next band to get out there?
Oh, what a tricky question.
I know, but it is. I mean, it's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It really is. 100%. You can have the best music in the world, but if nobody hears it,
right.
They're never gonna know it was the best music in the world. So ultimately, it's all relationship based. You're gonna have to get out there and shake some hands. You can't sit in your closet at home, make a bunch of music, and then expect that the world is going to hear it, because they're not. It's the truth about it. You can put it out there, Facebook has changed all the algorithms. Instagram has changed all their algorithms
Right.
to where you've got to pay to get it in front of your own fan base. Like, let's say you have 5,000 subscribers on Facebook, or 10 or 20 or 30, it doesn't matter. They do it on a percentage basis. So, you make a post, and only a certain percentage of those people are going to see it.
Right.
We'll say that you make a second post an hour later. You'll still get a certain percentage of the same people you just hit and maybe a few more.
Right.
It's not going to hit another whole, oh, well, we hit those people last time. Like going old school and trying to do like stuff that I saw back on like MySpace days,
Yeah.
Those tactics are just gone. Like you can't, because I think Hinder got discovered like that, like way back in the day.
Yeah, I think so.
And yeah, now you can't do that same thing. So you're going to have to get the representation to put you in the right positioning.
Well, hopefully you don't have any of your music on MySpace, because didn't they erase 50 million files or something like that?
Oh, wow. I don't even know if
yeah, they did. It actually was reported last week from downloads from 2003 to 2015, gone.
Wow.
And they said over 50 million songs, gone.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
That's like hitting the delete button going, oops.
Yeah, going, see ya. I mean, MySpace was on the tail end of my slide. But,
yeah.
I caught the last little bit of it. Facebook was really the big phase, but,
yeah.
That's just crazy.
Awesome.
It's just crazy how you could get out there and put the elbow grease in at one time, and now they've, pigeonholed you to where you either have to have a boat ton of money or you have to have the right connections.
All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to stand behind it. I know our listeners stand behind it. I think radio is still the best way to discover new music, and I think you guys agree with that too.
100%.
The downfall, I guess, for artists like you is if you don't get somebody like me that is going to take the chance to play you, and a lot of the corporate world of radio comes into play, goes, they're not in the top 20, they're not doing this, that, so we can't play that. So, then a lot of good songs never get played.
God, and you know what? I'll tell you this, and I said it to the PD out there in Vegas. She and I were sitting there talking, and I can't thank you guys enough for what you're doing, because like other formats like rap, you're seeing new content every day. Right. Country, I live in Nashville, so I'm around a lot of country. I'm not into country, but I'm around a lot of country artists.
Yeah.
And a country industry people as well. And it's the same thing. They're pumping out new artists. And it's just not the same way with rock. So when I get the chance to talk to somebody like you that's on the forefront of new rock, I got to extend it out there and tell you thank you, because you're saving rock and roll.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And I'm an old guy, by the way. So, I'm not old, but I mean, the reason I do this show is because back in my college days, that's when you saw the albums from, basically started off with Green Day to your Nirvana to your Alice in Chains, kind of that grunge era and how that all came about. And it's kind of like I'm trying to be now that 30 years ago kind of thing that says, hey, these artists could be the next, Green Day, Nirvana, all that kind of stuff.
Well, you know what? You're being on the cutting edge, and I'll say this, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Nirvana, the history of them, they didn't, break through with, 30 and 40-year-olds. They broke through with, 13 through 21-year-olds.
College radio.
Exactly. So they were played to, a younger demographic, was introduced to new music. They were introduced to new music.
Right.
And you are introducing people to new music. And that's you can't, I literally can't thank you enough for that. It's insane, because it's literally the death of rock and roll has been the old mentality where we'll play only the songs that, we know people are going to, be here to listen to, so we don't lose ratings, and you're like, no, how about we play new stuff, and then we let the community decide,
Absolutely.
what they feel like is strong and should stay on, and what they feel
Yep.
like we should pass on.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Hey, Shi, we probably should get going here and we'll play your latest song, but I guess if more people want information about Savage After Midnight, how can they find out that info?
Yeah, you can go to savageaftermidnight.com, or I suggest going to Instagram, going to Savage After Midnight. You can link up with me personally. It's at Shi_S.A.M. And we DM us, we talk back. Plus, if you go to my Instagram, you're like, this dude he's literally nuts. Like, he's crazy.
Awesome.
So,
man. Thanks for reaching out to me, man, and I wish you the best of luck. Continued success with the latest song, 10 Feet Tall. We're going to play that right now. You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely, my friend.
Awesome. Once again, that is Shi Eubank. He's the lead singer of the band Savage After Midnight. Their latest song is called 10 Feet Tall. You're hearing it right now on FM 94's The Dark.